Testing. Testing. Hopefully it's working. Looks like there's... Oh, there it is. There's the delay. Cool. So, we talked on Twitter with an informal poll, and people think what we got is really ugly. We should make it prettier. I kind of agree. First thing I want to do is I really want to get rid of that nasty little copy-paste workflow we were doing while dealing with this last time on line 13, where I was copy-pasting a bunch. So I have a new process started up, pretty much the same thing as last time. It's got its WebSocket listening. It has that undocumented JSON endpoint, and we're going to use it just to get a hold of this whole string and manually hook it up ourselves. So it'll be interesting. We do need to run our HTTP server slightly different. So previously we were just using -- cores. We're also going to be using -- proxy now, and basically what that's going to be doing is if there's ever an endpoint that doesn't resolve to a file on disk, it's going to send the request through to that server. You may notice that this actually is the same port number as the WebSocket server. Like I said earlier, there's an undocumented URL we're going to be hitting. So if I was to go to localhost 9229/JSON, it's got this fancy WebSocket debugger URL. But like I said in the last video, this property is not reliable until you get multi-clients and v8.6.6? I don't remember. Not in the current version of Node. So we're actually going to be using ID and manually assembling that WebSocket URL ourselves. So yeah. So how are we going to do this? We're going to use the URL constructor. And so we have this big thing here. I'm going to turn on wrapping for now. Kind of interesting. Not really what we want, but we got to make that request. So we're going to just use the fetch API. So we're going to fetch /JSON, which is going to pipe through from our static HTTP server into that 9229 port with /JSON. That's an async thing, so we want to await it, and we want its JSON, which we just saw was an array. And since we're only going to be hosting a single debugger instance for just demonstration purposes, we only want the first thing out of it. And we only want its ID. So that's a lot to take in. Lots going on that line. But yeah. So that ID, we need to go and we need to manually create our WebSocket URL with it, which for our case, we're always listening on port 9229 because I'm not changing that port ever with the command line. So hopefully we can just change it to have the URL be a new URL. It's using WebSockets. We could use our location.host, I guess. application.post name. This, and we want to have the ID. This is really going to be a template string. That looks right. Maybe. First one, get the ID. Oh, we need 9229 because we're not actually getting the port number. Dog, leave it. So let's refresh that page in the browser and see what happens. Well, debugger did get attached. Oh, process.rv. Oh, I got undefined back. The paths undefined. That's not great. What did we get from our object back? Oh, we got process is not defined. Global console. Where's console? Undefined back in. That's fine. I mean, console API was called. We got 1, 2, 3, and I received something back. Result type undefined. Curious. It did fire it. I don't. Oh, because we're paused. Huh. Oh, we've paused before anything's actually initialized. But the console is ready. We haven't done stuff. Okay. Node started. Loop. So, console should be set up now. Yeah. Yay. This is why I think showing the source code and where I've actually been at a breakpoint would have been good. But now we've got auto reconnecting, so our REPL is slightly less terrible. Let me just double check this. Yeah. Bunch of stuff. Cool. So the UI is ugly, and we can fix that. We're going to use some CSS stuff. We're going to reorder things around a bit. We're going to stop using images, because, you know, that's probably not the best thing here. Instead, let's say, what are we defaulting to play? Let's use inner, actually, let's go old school ASCII. So I'm kind of lazy. So we no longer have a button image, we just have a pause or play. Pause or play. Text content is gonna be resume, which is this, for our little ASCII thing, and pause. We'll do this. Let's actually change the title though, so we can get some tooltips. I guess we could have also gone with aria description, but I don't really feel it. So I pause, and where did we have that? That one is play. Play. Title. Defaults to play. check. Yeah. Still working. Still good. So we have our style, and we're gonna style a bunch of stuff. So HTML body, first thing I always like to style. Width, 100% height, 100% padding. Of course, we're gonna set it to 0 by default, and we can change that later when we just adjust the body. Let's set a few other things. Doing a little bit of coding style. We're going to be just setting things to border box because I'm not good at computing stuff with the other layouts. And we're going to set our font to monospace. Yeah, that's pretty nice. So body, we're going to want to change body a bit. We're going to give it padding, 8px. It's arbitrary, doesn't really matter. Display, we're going to be using flexbox. Flex direction, we want this to be a column. Yeah, and then that's going to spread to 100% height. Everything, we have kind of a text there, a button, a run it. Well, we really want to scroll back, so an unordered, ordered list, roll, log, that's accessibility thing, just basically stating this is going to change over time, and it's kind of what you use for chat logs and things like that. I'm not actually going to fill it out. Now we're going to have this like REPL area at the bottom for now. It's going to be kind of ugly. That's okay. Let's see, should probably make sure nobody's talking to me on YouTube. Maybe they are. No chat right now, so that's good. Maybe it's bad. Let's refresh, see how this is going. So it's going okay. Still a bit ugly. So this thing is going to grow as we add items to it. I'm just going to paste a bunch of these to check how it grows. So it's not really what I want. I want to keep the input kind of pinned to the bottom here. So we're going to change that to have an overflow. Yeah. Overflow, auto. So it's looking a little bit better. OL. Well, list style, none on that. OL and LI. I'm going to just remove the padding by default. I don't think we actually need it, want it. Margin 0. So if we go and refresh this, okay, we're starting to look a little bit better. This button is a kind of goofy size going on. We're just going to wrap it. That's the easiest thing for me to do. I'm going to give it a roll, toolbar. It's just kind of where you put all the buttons. So yeah, we got this, this, and this. So we want our output, instead of replacing our text area, to kind of be shoved in the log with this li thing going on. And, yeah. So way down here, we were talking about how we evaluate this with the on click, and then return by value, REPL. So we await this, we get the response, we get the value. And so we don't want REPL.value. We want, let's give this an ID. ID will be scroll back. That makes sense to me. We're going to say scroll back dot pin child item. Item is going to be what? Document dot create element li item text content equals this, which is our stringified JSON. We'll get to remote objects in a while, not right now. We probably also want to do this for what was input before. So let's just make this a function. Function add to scroll back. Well, content. If we got a string in, we'll just manually set the stuff. Otherwise, we'll just append child it. Else, we got this. Put this here, here. And we could make a class for scrollback and a custom element for scrollback, but we're not going to do that right now. We're just going to keep it a little lighthearted. Here. So add to scrollback this. We're going to add this text. And say REPL.value. We're going to empty out that value whenever we do it. And that's on the on click. We'll start to have a little bit better keyboard accessibility in a second. Not quite there. Let's go. Let's refresh. Let's do things. Debuggers paused again. 1 + 1. Oh, parameter 1 is not of type node. Add to scrollback 131. Oh, that's right. Since this is a real JSON value, I actually have to stringify for now. This is we're going to change that a bit in the future, but I'm going to copy this because I'm going to paste it. Oh, looks better. This doesn't look monospace though. It's not monospace. Why is this, oh, is it, do I have to do font family? I bet it's font family. Yeah. So let's change that. Let's also make some things a little bit prettier. Let's say inside of our log, we have a list item, and it's after another list item. Well, before the one that's following another list item. You have to have an empty content to render anything. That's one of the things I think is a little bit goofy about before and after, but that's okay. Border top, we're gonna say is what? 2px solid, no. light gray. Light slate gray. Oh, there's so many names. Choose from. That looks big. I actually need to say it's solid. I got too excited. Colors. Margin. What do I want? 0. 3 px, maybe? 1. Oh, I got that reversed. It's 3px 0. Vertical is first, not horizontal. Is the level of professionalism we're gonna see here. Oh, that's because it's because the flexbox is scrolling. I thought there was something wrong. Yeah. Okay, so we got that going. That seems fine. When we get console API called, we should probably do stuff too. We get args. Oh man, those are remote objects. I have to actually spend effort on that. Yeah, since it's sent over the wire to me as JSON, I'm just going to stringify it for now. So we're going to add another thing here. What is it? Runtime.console API called. Even though we declared that method way down here, we can actually use it up here because of hoisting. So, something. Object is already parsed form. We're gonna send it back as a string. What's this? Params args. Could also put the timestamp in. It's kind of nice. I'll throw it in. We can make that. So args. Is object.timestamp? No, it's params timestamp. We're not going to deal with a stack trace for now. But we'll get to it one day. So if I refresh this, okay. All more params. Pretty angry. Ooh, look at that big loop. Took it a second to get them all. We should pause that. Since we haven't restarted our node process, it's actually been running in the background whenever I refresh. And it's gotten a ways forward. So the latest loop iteration is what, 30,450. I think by default it only keeps 1,000 in the console history. And that looks like it's true. So that's fine for now. I'm not going to change it. I think we got this. Let's make our little editor here something that we can be proud of, and give it a history, and then we'll move on from there. Yeah, so people wanted me to use the Monaco editor. This is what VS Code uses. We're actually going to install it from npm. Looks like Where is this? Does it actually say how to integrate this? More information on the repo. Why not? Cross domain. I'm wary of ESM. So it's probably going to say Webpack. Yeah. I'm not going to spend the time to set up Webpack. That's a whole heck of a load off me if I don't have to. Looks like we load the loader wherever it is. It's an AMD loader. Well, I guess it ships with it. Seems good to me. I gotta go and actually do some stuff. Killing that, probably good too. Default npm init. I don't know if we'll actually use that bugs thing. There are gonna be lots of them. I think I copied. Oh, nope. I gotta copy that. What was it? Install. What's the name of you? Sure. Seems good. It's like dev is what I want. Sure. I'm not gonna update. So what do we got? Other. There's loader. That's what we want. Some copy pasta. So script sources. That jargon. That'll load and execute before we get to here, because it's not async or deferred, because we're not caring for that right now. And I do want to do some stuff to load it. Wanted me to do a few things. Let's see, what did you want? You wanted me to set up the AMD config. So no slash. Sure, looks good to me. Now I probably have to require it, but I can be sneaky and use a wait not to do nesting. Yeah. So I require it. Oh, it doesn't actually export on the AMD, it just makes it global. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. So we're gonna wait. We're gonna use thenables again. I want to fulfill when this is done. And then the global will exist at that point. This. There's some theory. That looks fine. So I need to have a container element. Passive language. I'm not going to do this bit. Let's just copy this. I don't actually need to get element by D because they're actually available as globals. So we're going to be replacing this with div. ID is going to be editor. Sure. Let's say editor. We're going to have a JavaScript thing with the same name. Oh, we can't name them the same because then they will collide. So let's call it source text. That's it. What on earth will happen when I refresh? It'll take a while to load. Oh. That's tiny. It's going. Oh, it doesn't have a min height or anything. So we gotta CSS this up a bit. What did we call this? Called it source text? Sure, why not? Source text, min height 2em. Sounds about right. What do you mean can't be reached? I didn't kill you. Oh, is the fav icons killing it? Yeah. So that's a bit odd and not what I expected. Flex row 1. Oh, I should restart that so it stops freaking out when it can't connect to the WebSocket or find the JSON endpoint. Okay. Run it is not defined. That's probably because we destroyed that. Okay, Monaco editor, let's see how fast I can learn. So it's got a text model, it's got language. Let's create, actually do. I get a code editor from it. Can I set the language? Language. Oh, looks like the model controls the language. So if I get model, and I get a text model, and did change language configuration. That doesn't look great. Model change language. Get mode ID. What's mode ID? Set. Can set the value in it. I wonder. Doesn't show a hierarchy, but I bet there's an I model. It doesn't actually show anything. Language. Set model language. Oh, that's in the editor. It's not at all what I expected. That the model doesn't control the language. Sure, why not? So that's one piece of the puzzle. Where were we? We got this back. On key down, on key up. That's on key. Well, on key up is usually what I want. At least when dealing with keyboard controls. On key down for repeatable stuff, but for like command keys and things, I generally like to use on key up. It lets people hold down the keys and decide what they're going to do before actually doing it. And so let's just make it when we hit Shift Enter, we don't do anything and we just add a line to our editor. If we just hit Enter, we actually go and we submit it, which is our old on-click function. So, listener is a function, gets a keyboard event. Okay, seems reasonable. Editor to on key up. Oh, it's a function. Gets an event. Okay, I'm assuming this acts like the browser because that would make sense. E.code, enter. I don't know if other people have used code. It's what you should be using for keyboard events these days. So if the thing is enter, if E.shift key, if that's not down, I'm going to prevent default. We're going to run all of this, and we need to do a little bit of changes. Since it doesn't look like the result of this is actually used, we're just going to go and do the same thing we did with onClick and change it to be async. So when shift is down, we're not going to be running any of this bit. Editor.get model, get value, we saw that earlier. We're going to add it to scroll text, evaluate all this. Maybe it'll work. Still takes a minute to actually load, which I'm not thrilled about. 1 + 1, normal enter. Ooh. People is not defined. Oh. Let's set value. If we want a history, we should probably make new models. So editor set model something. Okay, when we go back here, we're creating this. We could have given it that language thing. So it obviously starts with a model since we can type. Even though we didn't give one, so I guess we can do that. Get model, get value. We're going to set the model to something. Model? Yeah, doesn't look like there's anything here. Create model looks right. Create model, value is a string, which we'll want to be empty. Language and a URI associated with it. Yeah, we don't have a URI. So we want empty value. We're always going to be talking JavaScript here. Seems good. So set model. So these did have a dispose method on them, so I think we have to manage them ourselves. Whole model, get value. So to prevent leaking memory, for now, we're gonna call dispose. We should probably do that after, oh, Monaco, what is this? Monaco editor create model. All of this. That's right. I code hideously and then I clean it up later. Some people like it to be pretty in the beginning. That is not me. So whenever we get it, we get the value. We're going to pass it back. Suppose. Maybe it'll work. Takes a second because it's getting all of those messages. 1 plus 1. Let's shift enter. And it creates a new line. If I press enter without shift, it submits. Okay, and so that's working. Not entirely what I expected, but I'm kind of like the UI. I wish this would stay up top. Not sure why we're now taller than we used to be. I thought the scroll here would cancel things out. CSS. Oops, I accidentally. Do I need to set flex grow to 0 on below? Overflow is auto. Oh, it's too big either way. Something has gone terribly wrong. Let's not use min height. Let's say you have a height. Yes. I don't super have a lot of time left. No. When I send it nothing, I'm not showing the errors back. So let's actually do that. Try this. HE from that. For now, since we're running low on time, I want to at least get some work on the remote objects being fixed. We're just going to do this. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to debug the debugger. Looks like it overrode my other stuff. Well, those are old messages. Don't show me that. Okay, we start up all right. I press enter to submit. Okay, we get here. What is E? Add to scroll back. Pause on exceptions, pause on caught exceptions. Let's just refresh again. It's annoying. If you write a Chrome plugin, please make sure it doesn't throw errors normally. Send that empty thing. What is this? What is content? Content is undefined. Response. What is response doing? Response has a result. Type is undefined. Oh, I guess since I requested return by value, it tried to make it into JSON, but it can't because undefined is not a valid JSON value. So we have to work through. We have to massage the remote object. That seems fine. So let's make another function. Let's put it all the way down here. Function create remote object view. I don't know what we want to call it. We're gonna have to look at the Chrome protocol. We're gonna get some reference. Devtools protocol. We're back here again. Runtime. Remote object ID, remote object. So we get a bunch of these. Type, subtype, this, everything, last name, value, any. Okay, so we're gonna have switch statements. That's gonna be fun. Really undefined. These three are the ones that we can't turn into strings. Description, I'm not sure what it is. We didn't get that for undefined, which also isn't JSON serializable, so I don't trust that property right there. Description, didn't get that either. Oh, this is kind of a mess. Okay, well, let's set up some templates and we can worry about this later. Template ID equals object template. And this is going to be an LI. Let's get rid of text nodes because they're weird. Switch ref.type, which is the only thing that appears to be reliably on this thing. So case object, whoa, case function. Those are things we actually need to show with like an expanding tree. String, number, boolean, any of those you can just dump as text. Number, boolean, turn, eight, text node, value, case undefined. I don't know what symbols will look like, so that'll be fun. Default, I'm going to say debugger, because anything that falls through, return document, oh gosh, this is gonna, no, this is what I wanted this for, I remember now. Our add to scrollback is going to handle that, details, and summary. Here, and then we're going to have table, right? Because tables aren't as bad as people think. Say property template here. It's going to be a TR. What? Stop it, editor. Editor is fighting me. We're going to actually have a heading cell on the left and a data cell on the right. There's an extra thing there. And so we're going to say document import node. I don't know if anybody's ever used this before, but object template content. We want it to be a deep clone. So true. Our view is gonna be basically that. View dot get element by elements by nope. View dot query selector. How's this? Summary. So the first one, dot text content, we're gonna set to some random thing. Let's say class name. That seems reliable. Maybe it isn't. Who knows? I need more space. That's a bit easier to return view. Of course, the dog loves to make noise while I do stuff. This seems reasonable for now. We're not showing the properties, but we are showing the class name. Maybe that's enough. Maybe I should always use the debugger for now. Well, I probably do want to know for those. This seems reasonable. I'm getting close to my time limit. Come on. It's overriding my right click. Oops. Please stop pausing on every error. Here, we actually need to go and do that. So instead of this, the result, we're going to try to add a view of it. We get an error for whatever reason. Well, let's go back to here. Evaluate. What do you get back? Oh. If response dot set exception details, it had a lowercase e. Otherwise, it was successful, it looks like. Doesn't look like it ever throws, or pauses anything that would throw. Maybe, maybe not. No idea. For now. This should still work. This looks like it's an exception. Dot text. Not text. Ooh. Create object view. Oh, we're doing this unconditionally, actually. Hold on, butts. Adding all those things. So if I put an array here, 1, what happens? Oh, we hit a debugger. Disruptions. Not bad. For like 2 minutes. So it automatically connects. It's not the worst thing in the world. Debugger. What does this thing actually look like? It's got a type and it's got a value. Oh, that's because I requested it be returned by value. Whoopsie! We can't select the stack frame currently because we didn't prioritize doing that. What happens here? What's ref look like? Oh, now we're getting somewhere. Descriptions. It does have a class name. Okay. Description. I guess we could use that. Object ID. Okay. Could use that. So in theory, we're going to get something added to the very end. When we add stuff, we should probably scroll to it. Yay, we get an array. It's much better. What happens if I print a function? Console.log, we get a function. Undefined. We get undefined. Parse error? What's the thing we get back? I know, I'm about to run over on time, but we did pretty good. The REPL's not terrible anymore. We get the error object back, so that's pretty good. We could improve this REPL a bunch. Resizing the window helps. Error uncaught. It's not the best thing in the world. We could make these expand out when they're clicked, but that'll have to wait for another time. Styling things not my strong suit. If nobody could tell. But it's not bad. It's much more usable. Hopefully that's good. So add to the scroll block. There's one thing I do want to change about this. If scroll back dot scroll y, it's scroll y. I never remember these things. Go back. Here dot scroll top and scroll height. Scroll top is the current thing. If it's the same as scroll back dot scroll height, should focus. It means we're already at the end and we kind of want to keep refocusing. If should focus, we're just gonna set these equal. So that should mean when we get here and I actually put something in, it'll actually go and show me that thing. Oop. It's still loading all those messages, so if I type 1, it doesn't scroll to the bottom, but if I'm already scrolled to the bottom, didn't do it. A favorite debugger statement makes its appearance again. Oh goodness, no. Just continue. Did I break it? No, it's doing something. Okay, there it goes. Let's scroll to the bottom and see what happened here. 1. Scroll back, scroll top. It's 30. 92. 30. Oh. 2992. 29. I wonder. Scroll top plus scroll back dot scroll. Or is it client? Client height. Bum 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 bum. So let's scroll. Scroll back down. Client height. That should fix that bug. And then we'll have to end the stream. Okay, we're at the bottom. Okay, now it's following me. That's what I wanted to see. And if I'm not at the bottom, yeah, it doesn't follow me. Okay. Well, this was chaos as normal, as expected from live coding, but we automatically reconnect. We still have a couple UI bugs, but for around an hour's worth of coding, I think we did okay. The Monaco editor, props to it for getting me to actually integrate it under an hour. I think your API is a little weird, but logical enough that perusing the docs worked. Yeah, so I will see everybody maybe next week. After that, I go on vacation for a while, so I'll try to get it in next week. Hopefully it works out. Okay, bye.